Hi, everyone.
Hi there. Welcome to the first Quenza webinar of this year. We're really happy to see you.
First webinar of its kind as well. We've only ever done a Quenza member webinar before, and we are happy to have a lot of new people here on the webinar. And you're probably here because you subscribed to the Coaches Changes Everything ebook. So welcome. It's nice to meet you, and we hope to make this a very interactive experience. So whatever you want to share with us, any questions that you have, things you would like for us to cover, please pop it in the chat.
Yes,
I can see that the chat is working. Can you please let me know in the chat whether we are coming through all right, whether you can see us, if you can hear us? Would be good to know that the whole tech setup is working right now.
Cool.
See, Colleen, see and hear. We can hear and see coming through. Okay.
Awesome.
That's good to know. Thanks for confirming that. My next question is, maybe you can let us know what you do. A lot of us here are coaches, but if you can tell me what kind of coach you are, then we can get a sense of
Yes.
who is here with us right now. So that would be great to see. You look like you need a nap.
Who's? Seph or me?
Who said that? Todd Peterson. Yeah, Todd. I can always use a nap. I see a CEO coach, business coach, life coach, career coach, trauma recovery, clinical psychologist,
Nice.
executive coaching, yoga, meditation, mindfulness, leadership, strength-based career coach.
Cool.
Yeah, this seems super relevant, and this webinar is definitely for you, as far as I can tell. Resilience and management coach,
Beautiful.
college athletic leadership, industrial psychologist, strength-based coach and facilitator. Okay, this is yeah. I think we have the right audience for what we're about to cover here during the webinar. Do you maybe want to introduce what we have in store?
Yeah, let's start right away. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope it works. Here you go. All right, guys. So we have some things in store for you today. The first one is a welcome. I think we started with that already. Big welcome to all of you. We're really excited. I feel like a little boy going to school for the first time. Really excited to see what's happening. We will start with the why of Quenza. So we want to share, before diving in, why we created Quenza in the first place. We want to show you what our mission is and why we do what we love and how we want to serve you. Then we will discuss something that we promised in our emails, namely the number one success factor for online coaching. So Seph and I have been in the coaching business for quite some years now. We've run positivepsychology.com for quite some years. We had a lot of talks with people. We have a lot of data, and we wanted to share some key insights that we got from talking to these people, from getting feedback, but also from my own coaching experience. I'm a coach myself as well. I was trained as a psychologist, do a lot of strength finding with people, resilience coaching. Mindfulness was my topic at university, so I studied mindfulness, did quite some studies on this topic as well, did group training. So there is a lot of, I think, overlap with what you guys doing, and hopefully this will resonate with what we have to share as well. Then we will move on to something that I think is really important nowadays, to consider how you can grow your practice. So we will discuss 3 powerful growth strategies and also show you how you can use Quenza to build your practice and grow your practice as well. And finally, we will end with some questions and also answers. But please feel free to also ask questions during the webinar. We'd love to help you and make this interactive. I think this is the beauty of this medium. So please, let's do that.
Absolutely. I'll be monitoring the chat while you talk.
Awesome.
So I'll be representing all of the chat messages that come in.
So just interrupt me if something comes up. All right. So not too much, but we want to share why we built Quenza. So this is a picture of us with Ernst, one of the 3 guys, including ourselves, that actually made Quenza. And this is the very, very first day that we started to think of what we wanted to create. So here we're drawing the idea of Quenza on paper. So we were building literally like an app on small pieces of paper. Like, what do you want to create? So Quenza is an application that was mobile first by design. So we wanted to make something that engages clients. And I think the only way to do this is to make it as easy and accessible as clients as possible, to do things, to do homework, to get engaged, and to work at their best self. So this is why we started with this mobile first approach. And the reason why we created Quenza is to, I think at the largest scale, make an impact, that is so big that it will help many, many, many clients to become the best version of themselves and to become more autonomous and generally happy in life. I think that's the main purpose. And we thought, like, what can we do and what have we learned in all those years with positive psychology? And I think one of the things we learned is that the success of you as a coach is very much determined by the extent to which you're able to connect with your clients and help them achieve their personal goals. And as a coach, I noticed that when I was working with clients, there was so much hassle always. I think that you may recognize this as well, to not only motivate clients, but also help them stay on track, keep them engaged, send homework, not only like do talking and that kind of stuff, but also engage them in between sessions. So that was something that always was something that I considered to be something that could be tremendously benefit from technology.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing changes in the end if clients don't change their thoughts and their behavior after the session with you. So that is exactly what we've built Quenza for, to enable you as a practitioner to engage your clients and to make sure that they actually do the work that's necessary to get the change that they come to you for. Yep. And that's what it comes down to in the end.
Yep, absolutely. So like an anecdote that also was something that contributed to the idea of Quenza. I once did a study on mindfulness. And in this study on mindfulness, we created 2 groups, a control group and an experimental group. And the experimental group got like a mindfulness training for 8 weeks. And an idea that I had was like, what if I would send them like 1 email every day with an inspirational quote that related to the topic at hand? So for instance, if the topic was on automatic patterns, every day they would receive a quote on mindfulness just to prime them, to remind them of, becoming aware, being aware and of their automatic patterns and so on. Many of the participants were angry after 8 weeks because, the daily email stopped. They were like, where is my mail? Because they were so used to this inspiration that they really looked forward to it. And that was something that, came by surprise, because I didn't know that people were, because the idea is very simple, right? You just send 1 email. So then came the idea, well, what if we could build something that automates engagement, that primes people, it helps them on their journey? And then the idea for Quenza was born.
Yeah, but what I love about this, because I've been on the receiving end of your daily emails back then, is that it's so simple. It's really just a quote sent over email. And even such a simple intervention, if you will, such a simple message, was already making a big impact in the lives of your clients. And then, you can start fantasizing about all the other things that you could do to have an even bigger impact.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we're seeing now with the people who are using Quenza. We're sending out activities, automated pathways to at scale serve people, even if it's with something simple as a daily quote.
Exactly. So I think before we continue, I don't think that technology is the answer. I think the experience is the answer to what you want to achieve. And I think what we did with Quenza is we wanted to create an experience for clients that is accessible, easy, and I think a guide on their journey. And that's what Quenza to me is. I always like talking about Quenza as like an entity, like a person, because in a way, Quenza helps me in my own practice as well. I'm going to show you later on how it's helping me personally. So this is basically the why.
Yeah. One housekeeping message here. I got a question about the recording of the webinar. Recordings will be made available after the webinar. We'll send an email with a replay link. I also see that there's a question about specific features such as booking, online therapy, reminders. We'll get back to the upcoming features that we have in store for the rest of the year at the end of the webinar. Yes. We'll talk about the roadmap for the rest of the year.
Yes, definitely. So I think we already briefly touched upon this topic. Like, what is the number one success factor for online coaching? What we've seen in our work with the people that we were serving in the last years, but also my own work, is the keyword is client engagement. And there's this very simple reason for that. Clients come to you or come to us because they want to change. There's something they're not satisfied with, or there is something they want to change in their life. They want to transform in a way. And it's all about them. And the key to transformation is always autonomy, is engagement. You cannot do the work for your clients. I think I think we have tons of studies that show that a high level of motivation and engagement is key to personal change. So then the question becomes, of course, how can we engage clients? I think for those of you who have been coaching clients, I think you will notice that some clients are really motivated and they will do a lot of work and they need little guidance, but many of them also feel lost in everything. You know, they start a journey, a new journey, and on this journey they suddenly, you know, have to do all kinds of things that they didn't do before. So some clients come to the next session and say, I totally forgot about the homework. And it's not that there is a lack of intention, but simply often things are forgotten because of their busy schedules and stuff like that. And sometimes it's also confronting for clients, you know, to work and to become self-aware and aware of your problems. So
yeah, I'm also reminded about sales and in sales, it's extremely important to always do follow-up. So let's say you get a lead, and in fact, I mean, almost all coaches are in sales as well, because leads are coming in, potential clients are coming in, and you somehow have to convert them to start working with you, or at least they apply to working with you. And there's in the first conversation, or maybe the second conversation, is also a sales conversation in a sense. And in sales, the success is always in the follow-up. So following up with leads, not just once, not twice, but sometimes even more. And people are usually very grateful if you follow up. And we think, like, I don't want to be too salesy. I don't want to come across like I'm, panhandling my services or something like that. But the client, for them, it's actually, they reached out to you, or they got in touch with you because they are experiencing a certain problem and they want your help. So following up with them is extremely important. And in therapy or in coaching, following up with whatever it is that you discussed and making sure that they actually take action on that.
Exactly.
The same principle applies.
Now, the beauty is, I think, with today's technology, you can help clients to stay on track, but also give them the sense that you care. You know, if I talk to a client and I send them home and do nothing, it's a completely different story than when they get home, like the first day after, or maybe that very same day, they get like a personal message from you. Even if it's programmed, it means that you took the time for them to select something to send to them because you care about their journey. And I think that's a very important thing that you want to do. That's why client engagement is so much more than just, getting them to work. It's also about showing that you care, that you value their progress and their pathway. So this is why I think it's so important to consider what you can do to engage your clients. And this is, I think, what Quenza can do for you. And of course, we had a look at many different competitors and other applications. But the reason why we took the risk to invest, a lot of money to develop Quenza, because it was really a risky thing, because we didn't know if people were waiting for this, is because we saw that nobody else was doing it in this way. Of course, there are apps that have a certain way of engaging clients, but it was always like often part of a whole package. Like there is this practice management stuff like finance and this stuff, but the core was never like this focus on client engagement. And this is why I think it's valuable to consider what you can do.
Yeah, maybe that's also the main way when I explain what Quenza does and how we are different from other coaching apps out there. I think it's because we started with client engagement at its core, and now we are, and this is to answer one of the questions that came in as well, we're adding more and more practice management features on top of that client engagement core.
Yes.
And it's just structurally and philosophically, it's different from starting with handy features that you also need, such as billing and scheduling, but there are already tons of solutions out there that do that very well. Of course, we could integrate them, but it's not a uniquely added value. So for us as a business, that choosing that niche, that the client engagement, that one thing to focus on has been really important, and also what people seem to be appreciating most about it.
So yes. So then let's move on to the next topic. Like we promised to discuss 3 powerful growth strategies. Now, I think when we talk about growth, it's about, of course, growing your practice. And when you talk about growing your practice, automatically the keyword here is scalable. You cannot grow if you cannot scale up in a way. So what is a scalable practice? A scalable practice can be defined as a business where the money that comes in is not directly linked to the amount of hours you work. Now, Seph, I think you can explain better than I can what this basically means.
Yeah, otherwise, per definition, it is not scalable because you are limited by your own time. You can work maybe 40 hours a week, maybe you even work 80 hours a week, or if you're like Elon Musk, you work even more hours than that. But in the end, there is a limit to the amount of hours that you can put in, and also to the amount of coaching sessions that you can realistically have in a week. And I know a lot of us coaches are ambitious, and you have greater plans for your career and for the success of your practice than just doing one-on-one sessions with clients. And also there are ways that you can be of more value to your clients outside of the one-on-one contact that you have with them. And I've done a lot of research, and of course from our own experience we also know that you're gonna have to do some things slightly differently if you want the future for your coaching practice to be different and more scalable. So let's share everything that we can.
Yeah, before we share, I would like to ask you guys a question. So consider your own coaching practice. What prevents you from running a scalable coaching practice? What are the factors that you feel are preventing you from doing that?
Okay, I'm gonna man the chat again and see everything that comes in. See. Teresa says time and availability. Yeah, time. That's indeed exactly what we spoke about.
Yes.
Time is a limiting factor.
Always.
I'm a beginner trying to get my first clients.
Mm-hmm.
The individual customized care.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sales and marketing. This has come up a lot as well.
Yes.
That's actually something that I recently wrote a book about, but I'll tell you more about that later over email as soon as we can launch it.
Yeah.
T, that's an acronym that Thomas is sharing. Time, energy, and attention.
Exactly.
Yeah. Creating group coaching, that's something we're going to get into now as well.
Nice.
Customize an offer to clients, sales and marketing.
Yep.
Sometimes skill to use various technologies. Yeah.
Yep.
Getting leads.
So to get back to one of them, I think it's mentioned quite a few times. I think the biggest and most recognizable one is time, of course. When I was working at university, I've been there for over 15 years. One thing that I noticed is that everybody was extremely busy with answering emails, running the same lecture every time again and again, that nobody was innovating. It was like a treadmill. Everybody was running and there was little progress because everybody was so busy doing the same thing. Everybody was feeling there was a lack of time. So there was absolutely no scale up.
Yeah.
It was virtually always the same thing. I know that there were courses that were the same for like 8 or 9 years. And the reason for that was because there was no idea of how you could automate things and move on. Yeah. And this is something that I learned in our own practice, that it's possible to do that. You can do that in coaching. You can do that, I think, virtually. Well, I think in most practices you can do so.
I think it's also similar to a lot of GP offices. They're spending so much time on all of the admin and all of the stuff that is not related to that one-on-one patient doctor contact. Exactly. And I see CK here in the chat is saying all the non-coaching stuff.
Exactly that stuff.
Robin is saying on the CK all the non-coaching stuff, and that is exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly, the non-coaching stuff, and that is what I hate most personally, because I love coaching basically because I wanted to make a difference in the lives of clients. That's why I started coaching, because I care about the well-being of my people, and everything that is unrelated to that or remotely related, it just doesn't feel like it's what I want to do. Yeah. So you want to automate that part as much as possible. So this is a quote, I think, from one of our users that beautifully summarizes how Quenza can help you to scale your practice. This psychotherapist, Brad Desmond, says, Quenza allows me to be there for my clients throughout the week with automated follow-up in the form of stunning homework exercises, video content, and inspirational messages. I essentially clone myself, and I can now take on more clients while delivering better care. So this clone idea is I think what technology allows us to do. So the key is, I think, to use technology in such a way that you stay personal. It stays personal. It's still you, but you can help more people at the same time. And this is why I love this quote so much, and that's why we put it there. So what I want to do here is I want to discuss and show you 3 powerful growth strategies, and also show you how Quenza can be used for them. Now, the first one is, I think, what also quite a few of you mentioned, is freeing up your own time. So how can you use Quenza to free up your time? So if you allow me, I will stop sharing now and show you Quenza. So I will show you what Quenza is and how it works and how it can help you to save a lot of time, right? Okay. So here we go. Yes, here we go. Okay, cool. So what you see here is basically the dashboard of Quenza. So this is what happens when you first log in. Now, before I continue, I think what is important to realize is that Quenza is an application that allows you not only to send out activities and engage your clients, but also was designed with structure and neatly organizing things in mind. So Quenza is organized around the idea of your clients. So everything resolves around that. So that's basically, you could say, the starting point, the core of your Quenza account. So when I move to clients, what you see here, these are my clients. I can also shift to grid view if that's more convenient for you guys. These are the clients that I have. So everything that I do here, so if I want to know something about a certain client, let's say I want to know something about, Ernst, what was the name again of the client that we had set up for this demo? Charlotte. Oh, yeah, Charlotte, that's the name. Charlotte, there she is. So if I hit this client, what you see here is on the left side, a menu that shows everything related to this client. So this moves on from statistics to the chat that I have with Charlotte, to the activities that I send to Charlotte, to the pathways, notes that are there. So what Quenza does for you, it creates a structure. Now, in my own coaching practice, what I often did when I was coaching clients, I created a folder on my hard drive with the name of that client. And in that folder, I created all the things that I did, like the intake forms were there. There were exercises that I sent, like my session notes were there, like the payments, everything was organized on my hard drive. But the problem of that is, of course, it takes a lot of time, because every time you need to create new folders, you have to put stuff in there. There's a lot of overhead time that you rather would spend differently. So this is one way, I think, the first way in which Quenza saves you a lot of time. Everything is automatically, neatly organized per client. Now, the most important way for me is that when you want to, communicate with clients, rather than using an email application and sending back and forth emails, what Quenza offers you is chat. So you can easily chat with your clients using the chat functionality. So this is a far more convenient way, I think, than, sending emails back and forth, having them in one inbox, searching in your inbox for that client, what he or she said. Like I showed you, in the client menu of that particular client, there's a menu called chat. So this chat window, what you see here in the main view, is also available there. So there you can immediately see, oh, this was what we were discussing. Yeah. Other than most chat applications, Quenza was designed with, clients in mind, with coaching in mind. So what you can do, for instance, you can also export chat conversations as a PDF file, or you can disable chat for a particular client. Or you can archive chats if you want. So the whole idea of Quenza was to streamline the interaction between you and your clients, saving you a lot of time.
I'm going to jump in with a question here.
Of course, please.
Do you have to ask clients permission to add their data to the system? It's an interesting question, because you can use Quenza as you would use a CRM system. So you can choose to add their data to the system and to make notes on clients without having them interact with you. But the power of Quenza lies in getting clients to create their own account and in interacting with them through chat, for example, or through activities or pathways. So when you create a new client, you can automatically send them an invitation to create their own account, and for them to download the mobile apps, for instance, so that it's really easy for you to be in touch with your client.
Yep.
That is the best and the preferred way of using Quenza.
But if you invite clients to Quenza, they have to confirm. They have to confirm that they want to receive email from you using Quenza. And also when they complete an activity by you, they have to agree, because that's a legal thing you have to do. Because you're gathering data, you have to, clients to comply, you have to you have to have their consent.
Yeah.
This is something that we covered, of course.
And then the question is, does the client need to have Quenza as well? No, the client doesn't need to pay for Quenza or something. When you invite a client, the whole Quenza experience and the Quenza app is free for all of your clients.
But you don't need to have Quenza even installed if you don't want to. So you can send out an activity to a client, so the client will get an email, and then he or she can directly complete that activity online.
Yeah.
So
it's what they prefer best. If they want their own account, they can create that, and there's a lot of advantages to that for a client.
Yes.
If they don't, they can complete it in their browser.
Exactly. So there are a lot of cool features that you miss when you don't have the app. For instance, when you make client notes, is something I do for every session. I make a client note, but I also share my notes with my client because I want my clients to know what we discussed and so on. In Quenza, it's possible to create a note, hit share with client, and also comment on that. So the client and you can comment on a note that you created. So this is impossible when you don't have a client account.
Yeah, maybe it's something that we can show later. There's a couple more questions coming in.
Sure.
Can you use Quenza to communicate through live video like Zoom? You can put a Zoom link in the Quenza chat and invite your client for a call video chat in that way. We don't have video conferencing as a Quenza feature as of yet. Yeah. Also, it's quite a different tool or software to build, so it's not really our focus. And of course, to build a whole solution like Zoom would take a lot of time, and there are opportunity costs to that time, because we would rather invest it in the client engagement part rather than building a solution that already exists and that works well. Like right now, we are using Zoom as well. People are very much used to using Google Meet, Zoom, all of the other solutions out there, Teams, whatever it is.
But still, I think in the end, it's on a roadmap. So we will develop it at a later phase when we have gone through everything that we wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw a question about Mehrun. He's asking, can you use Quenza to communicate? Oh, no. Can you give access to other team members? Yeah, we have built the organizations feature for that.
I can show you.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
I'm still sharing my screen, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So this account has an organization account. So what is an organization account? It means basically that there is a level on top of you as a professional. So an organization account holder can have multiple professionals under their wings, you could say. So let me show you how this works. So if I switch now to the organization account, you see that there are users. So these users are basically there is only one user in this account, but if you have more users, these are all the professionals in that organization. So for instance, if I have a practice with 5 colleagues, 5 coaches, I can set up an organization account for Quenza and give access to all these coaches using Quenza. What is really cool about this account is that you can create shared libraries, for instance, for your activities. So you can create activities here in this organization account and then automatically make them available for all the coaches that are part of your organization, or they can submit activities that they made and make them publicly available through the organization. You can do a lot of things that you couldn't do with the regular account, of course, but yes, that's possible, of course. Yes.
Let's answer a couple more questions and then move on to the next part.
Of course.
Thomas is asking, is there a file repository function to upload materials?
Yes.
And that is our files feature that
Shall I show it?
Referring to? Yeah, just briefly.
Yeah, sure. So if you go to files in the main menu, this is the file section. Again, you can choose between a grid view and a list view. Now, the beauty here is that we looked, of course, at all the big ones like Dropbox and Google Drive and so on. We developed a system that we believe is not only
better.
No, seriously, we did some tests with edge cases, and we found out that sometimes Dropbox will break, but Quenza will not break. So we were pretty proud of that. But anyway, so the idea is here to that you can create folders and everything you want, and you can easily, not only use them as files, but also share them with clients. So for instance, if I have like a PDF file here, I can say, I want to share this file with my client. So let's do this. Let's share this one with Charlotte. I say, okay, let's share this one. Saved. So let's move on to the client app. So what will happen now is that in the notifications of this client's app, Dr. Jane Doe, that's me in this demo, shared a universal needs inventory PDF with you. So if the client hits this notification, she can immediately download this file. But the file is also, of course, in the application of the client. So here, the client, this is the main menu, is also, of course, available on mobile. She has a file section. What you see here is that there's a folder with my name in it, Dr. Jane Doe, and here are all the files that I shared with this client. Now, let's get back to the application, because I was talking about how Quenza organizes everything for you. So if I go to clients, go to Charlotte again, and go to the file section, you will see that the file that I shared here is now also in this files list. So I can immediately see what was shared with this client. So this saves me a lot of time, because now I don't have to manually copy things on my hard drive. I don't have to remind myself or remember which files were shared. Everything is basically done for you. So yes, there is a file section. Now, if you go back to files, I think some really cool features are that if you're part of an organization, you will see that there is an extra tab here. It says organization. So with this tab, you will find all the files that were shared by your organization with you. So
you don't have access to it right now.
Because this is a demo account.
Yeah.
But you can also say, like, as a professional, I want to share some files with my organization. I want to share this file. So this means that the file automatically is put in the organization account where it can be distributed again. So there is a lot of interaction between different layers. So you can share with clients, with your organization. You can create folders. There is a lot of things that you can do with files. So the answer is this. There's one cool thing that I want to show you about files, which is something that other applications don't do, is that you can, when you add a file, you can also share, you can also create a link. So it's also possible, for instance, if you have like a really cool YouTube video, you can paste it here and it will automatically preview that file as a YouTube video.
Yeah, no, I also wanted to cover some other questions that come in before we give a complete demo of Quenza. Can you accommodate group coaching?
Oh, yes.
It's something that we can also.
Yeah, it's later. It's because it's one of the pillars.
That's one of the things that we're going to get into a bit deeper. Does Quenza work like Kajabi or Carta? Kajabi is more for building your website and your learning management system. Quenza is really for client engagement and for everything that has to do with the interaction with the client. Let's see. Can a group of coaches from the same organization share one account? That's what Hugo just showed. Can you upload courses? That's one that we're also gonna get into. So in that way, I don't want to say Quenza is similar to Kajabi, but we have some. Yeah, well, we use the same functionality in a different way because with Kajabi, usually you give a client or a customer or someone access to an online course, and this person immediately has access to tons of videos and all of the materials that you've created. With Quenza, we've built it in such a way that you can drip feed all of the different steps of your online course, all of the different modules to a client in a more bite-sized way. And you can see what they're actually doing with the materials, whether they are engaging the materials. And by sending it over the course of time in a more bite-sized way, clients are way more likely to actually engage with the materials and to complete the online course. Because what we know from our other business, from all the courses that we have, masterclasses at positivepsychology.com, and also from the industry averages, is that a lot of people who buy online courses don't actually follow through with them. So it was an insanely low completion rate. I think it was just like a couple % or something on average of people buy online courses that complete them. So with the pathways feature that we'll show later, our aim is to increase that number. Let's see. What training and maintenance do you provide with Quenza? Well, the maintenance we do for you. You don't have to worry about that. We're constantly updating the system. And training, if there's anything that you're not sure about, or if you want a personal walkthrough, Konstantin on our team is always happy to give you a personal demo. So all you have to do is send an email to info@quenza.com, and he's happy to hop on a call with you and show you around.
Yes, and even help you to build like personal activities. So if you have, if you say like I have PDF files that I would like to put in Quenza, but I'm not sure how, he can help you. With
I wanted to say that at the end, but spoiler. is there a file size limit? Yeah, there are different limits depending on the pricing plan that you're on. But I think on the unlimited plan, it's virtually unlimited.
Yeah, it's hard to I think to run out of storage.
Does it support Arabic language customized materials? Well, I do believe we have translations in Arabic, right? Or don't we?
I can look that.
Not one, or we don't. We don't support Arabic. We have a lot of the different languages. So for the client app, so that clients get the whole app experience in their customized language, but not in Arabic. And all of the materials, all of the expansions haven't been translated, because it would be an infinite amount of work to translate it to 27 different languages, because we're adding new expansions all the time.
Exactly.
And we would go broke on the translation costs alone. So that, yeah.
No, but you can of course create your own activities in Arabic, if you the application can use any language that you want.
Probably as a coach, you want to customize the materials anyway, to make sure that it suits your specific clients in your geographical region with the type of language that you would use. So you can, you're free to copy them, to duplicate them, and to translate them as you see fit. Let's see, I believe cost is intrinsically linked to completion rates. The lower the cost, the higher the rate of people not completing. Yeah, this is exactly what I've seen as well, Marilyn. It's a really good point. So there's a quote that says, if they don't pay attention. And that applies here as well. If you give your online course away for free, you'll find that it has a very low completion rate. But if you charge $2,500 for the same materials, you'll see that over 50% of people at least will complete them. So yeah, pricing is very much linked to completion. Shailandra is asking, not sure if I missed this, is there an API for integration to other websites? So currently we do not have an open API yet, also for security reasons, because we do everything that we can to be HIPAA and GDPR compliant and to protect all of the data that's being stored in Quenza. So there's some things that we want to get in place before we open up the API.
But it's on the roadmap, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And integration with other sites like Calendly. Well, the good thing about Calendly is that it's really a matter of making a link available to clients that you can just put in the chat for them. You can also add your Calendly link as a file, for instance, and share that with clients.
Yep.
So there's no real need to integrate it directly. But we'll definitely look into that when we start building the scheduling feature. But that's for later. Mm-hmm. Shall we go on with the next part of the presentation?
Yeah, sure. Let's move on. So let me see, does this work? Ah, cool. Yes, it does work. Awesome. So what is the second way to scale your practice? It's been mentioned before, it's group practice, of course, group coaching, multiple clients at the same time. I did a lot of mindfulness trainings with groups. And for me, that was also, I think, a very elegant way to scale my practice, because I could serve, I did up to 22 participants per group. So I was running these programs, and it was a very nice way to not only help clients learn from each other, because I think if you do group training, I think one of the most important things is to consider how you can leverage the group format, right? What can you do that makes it possible for other group members to benefit as much as possible? Because of course there are benefits to one-on-one coaching, but I think when it comes to group coaching, people can learn from each other. There is this sense of cohesion. If you do it right, there's vulnerability. People can see, whoa, I'm not the only one with this issue. I've seen transformations going on that were beautiful in groups that I haven't seen in one-on-one coaching that strongly. So I think group coaching is a very cool way to grow your practice. You can serve many more people at the same time. So
what I've seen you do, by the way, is you've started doing group coaching, of course, and the workshops. But then at some point, you also had other trainers to run these group coaching sessions for you.
Yes,
so that is another way in which you can scale. Like once you have that set up, once you have the templates, trainings, and it's working, you can train other people to give these trainings for you and scale in that way.
Exactly. So what you can do with Quenza is you can create programs easily, and I'm going to show you how you can do that, and also work with groups. So even if you're not able to deliver it yourself, you could build everything and ask another trainer to deliver those programs using Quenza. So this is, I think, the beauty. Some people say, I don't want to get impersonal, I don't want to to be run by software only, but it can be a blended approach. So what I did was I was using group sessions, physical meetings, we were there together, and the homework was like the digital part. People get like engaged with the emails and that kind of stuff. So I think you don't need to go fully digital. It's up to you. You can do so, and Quenza will allow you to do so, but you can also use this blended approach. So let me show you how this works. So groups are under clients. So there is a tab clients and there is a tab group. Basically, it's the same thing, just like a client, has a menu on the left side. The group has the very same menu. You can send activities to groups, you can send pathways to groups, nodes, and so on. So first, because I haven't covered the essence of Quenza yet, so let's have a look at activities, because that's what this is all about. So the core is, I think, activities. What is an activity? An activity can be virtually anything. It can be an exercise, an inspirational video, an assessment. Your creativity is the limit here. So you can create whatever you want. So here are some activities that are in this account. These are pre-made activities. We have a whole bunch of them, almost 200 expansions, as we call them, have been created, and we're updating them, every month. So let's have a look at this very simple one. This is called the session rating scale. So this is what it looks like. So this is something I typically send to clients after a session because I want to know how they experience the session. It's very simple. I can show you what it looks like. If I hit the preview button, this color is customizable, so you can choose whatever color you want. It's a very not so pleasant one in this, this version one. So this is what the clients do on their mobile phone or desktop or tablet, whatever. They complete this exercise, and once they have completed the exercise, you will get feedback, of course. So if you go to the group, you will see that all the activities that you sent to this group are listed here under activities. Now, what you see here is that this mindfulness training intake form is completed by 75%. If I hit this plus button, you will see what's going on. Like 3 of these participants, or 4 in this group, have completed it, and 1 is still, still pending for this one. This one is complete. So this group activity is completed by all 10 participants. If I click on it, it will show me all the details. So you will see like how many people have completed this, results being shared, and so on. So here you have all the data, overall data for your group, and you can also view individual responses here. So this is, of course, a demo account, but whatever you create in an activity is automatically sent out to all the members in the group, and you will get access to the group data as well. So when you want to coach people, you want to see patterns or whatever, you can easily do that. Yeah,
one of the frustrations is, of course, a lot of coaches send PDF documents to clients over email.
Yes.
And the frustrating thing is you never know what actually happens. Like, does the client even open the PDF? Do they go through it? Do they read it? Do they perform the exercises that are in it? What happens? With Quenza, it's in an automated way. You can see exactly what happens with your materials, who engages with it, who completes them, who doesn't, send automatic reminders, all of that.
So let me show you. So let's say I want to send this session rating scale to the client Charlotte, right? So I go to send, select Charlotte. There she is. I want to send it now. I don't want to send a reminder. I don't believe. Who can see the results? So this is also something that is pretty cool. You can determine who can see the results, the client and you both. Only you, only the client, or the client can decide who sees the results. Now, this is, I think, very nice because sometimes there's confidential data. Sometimes it's not necessary for you to see the data. Sometimes when, for instance, I work with diaries, I don't need to necessarily read them. It's more important for the client to self-reflect. So here's a personal message. You can customize it. And now I hit send. So as you can see, activity was sent successfully. Now let's go to the client and let's have a look at the client account. The client automatically gets a new notification with the client activity title, how you felt about our last session. It's also here in the activities menu of the client. Here it is. And the client can start to complete it immediately if he or she wants. So here, I understand, start, and what the client does here, is automatically complete the exercise. So there's no need to print it, to download it, whatever. It's just one click, start doing it, submit, and you have the data. So the next session, I say, I read the homework, I saw. Even during the session, I often take my iPad, because I've installed on my iPad. I go to the client I'm working with, and I just go to activities, and I see, okay, this is what happened this week. So this is what's going on. Just compare that to having your computer with your files, with your PDFs. It's for me personally, it's a completely different way of organizing your practice. And also clients like the fact that everything is organized in one place. Everything related to their coaching is in Quenza.
And I've also heard that these activities that are sent in between sessions are used as a conversation starter for the next session. So you can refer back to a completed activity and see like, I see you filled out this and that. I see you were struggling with this and that during the week. And it's immediately something that you can use to start the conversation during the next session.
Yes.
There's a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah, sure. Please, go ahead.
Many people in need find their number one issue is the sense of abandonment. It's being alone, and clients really appreciate the ability to link up with others that are experiencing the same issues.
Beautiful.
So this was Merlin regarding what we said about group coaching and group interaction.
So what I want to share with you is that you can also have group chat. So it's possible for your group members to chat with each other and create a sense of community online. Now, we recently updated the chat functionality also with files, so you can add files. So for instance, if I want to add a file here, I can upload a new file. Let's say I want to upload this picture here. I send it. You can do basically anything that regular chat applications also can do, but in a group context. And the beauty, of course, is that everything is confidential. So everything is secure and encrypted. So you won't have any fear of sharing sensitive data. So group chat is something that is possible as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can also moderate the group chat, by the way. So there's the option as well.
Yeah, there's Thomas says EMCC requires a lot of paperwork for reaccreditation, reflections, logs, high-level coaching summaries. Does Quenza support any of these? Well, yeah, absolutely. We supply the shell, so to speak. So whatever you want to put in there, whatever kind of activities or files that you want to create, use, and share with clients, you can using either the files feature or the activities feature.
Sure. So very quickly, I'm going to show you how you can do this. So like I said before, the core of Quenza is, I think, the activity builder, where you can build your own activity. So whatever it is you want to make, like an intake form. On the right, you have a panel with all kinds of options. So you can have a short answer question here. So you type, how are you? Oh. You can do linear skills. You can do multiple choice questions. You can do even like a wheel assessment, like in the Wheel of Life. You can create whatever you want with the builder here. And you can also create contracts, because there is also like a signature function here. So clients can draw a signature. Like I said, the imagination is the limit here. And you can save that and send that to clients, and automatically it's stored. You can export as PDF as well. So if you're a fan of having an extra copy of it, you can export the results as a PDF file.
Yeah. Well. So if you're using DocuSign or HelloSign right now, or any of the other tools, you can essentially use Quenza for that as well. So there's a lot of other tools that you will no longer have to use, so that you have it all in one place.
And it's quite easy. If you have a PDF file open in one window, you can just copy and paste, the lines and into Quenza and save the activity. And the cool news is, I think, that you can have this activity and send it to as many clients as possible. It just, once it is there, it's a matter of hitting.
You build it once.
Yeah, exactly. You send it out as many times as possible. Yeah.
Robin says, so Quenza supplies fully fleshed out activities we can offer our clients, white label, that we can change and make our own. It gives that helpful starting place. That's exactly what.
Let me show you. So this is what we call the expansions. So there are now nearly 200 expansions, but as I said, like many more will come up. So you can filter them by keywords, say like I'm more into acceptance and commitment therapy. You will get all kinds of activities that are related to that. Like, for instance, the observer meditation, no time to waste is one on values. So we've created a lot of activities for you that clients can immediately use, but you can also adjust them. You can use your words. You can rearrange them, combine them. I don't mind. We created that content for you. And we're listening to the community. So the community is a big part of Quenza, in which we ask people what they want and what they need. So we build expansions that they want. We build features that they want. They can upvote features. Quenza is pretty much, I would say, user-driven. Our roadmap is solely determined by the feedback of our customers.
Yeah. We have a community section that you can also show.
Sure.
It works a bit like Reddit with in terms of upvoting.
Yep.
And we just look at the amount of upvotes that a feature request has, for instance, and we take that into account. For
instance, this one, the ability to provide feedback on an activity. This is something that we're now working on to make it possible for you guys, once an activity is completed, to add comments to that, to comment on that and to add notes to that as well.
Yeah. Bruce was asking, did I hear you say that this was originally a mobile app? Since my niche is young, is that still true? So yeah, the cool thing is it's a desktop application, but also a mobile application, both for iOS and Android. We have native apps. So whatever your client prefers and whatever you prefer to use, Quenza will be there on that device.
What we were talking about in the beginning was we started, it's easy to start a complex application like this on desktop because you have a lot of space and you can put, buttons and everything everywhere. But if you start by mobile, on a mobile interface, it's way more challenging because you have very little space and you have to really think through the structure of your application. So that's why we started. We wanted it to be a very accessible tool, and to be accessible nowadays, everybody is using a phone, and it's a very powerful device that you should use, I think, to engage clients, because otherwise people have to search for a computer, like a desktop. It doesn't work. So we wanted it to be user friendly. That's why we started. But of course, we designed the desktop version once we had the mobile design.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Bruce, because maybe we should have stressed that more. If you want to engage clients, what are you going to do? Are you going to send them an email or an email reminder? Then you land in their inbox and you get lost in that whole sea of their inbox with all of the emails that are coming in. But what if you can, reach them through an in-app notification or something? They just get a ping on their phone. And especially if you have a younger audience, but also for millennials, Gen Z, even Gen X, everyone like an in-app notification gets almost like 100% open rate, or at least an attention rate.
Exactly.
So that is the only way which we saw that you're guaranteed to get your clients to see it and then to engage with it.
And if you work with younger clients like I did, I also did a lot of work with students, of course, in my years at university. Nobody is accepting PDF files anymore. Who has a printer nowadays? Maybe we have one because it's needed for legal documents. But other than that, you're so much used to the convenience of applications, just typing in stuff and just sending it away. And this is exactly why we designed Quenza. We wanted to build a future-proof application that is there for the generation that comes after us, because they will not accept it. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, I'm reading John's message here. Lots of coaches in my network use Coaches Console. Yeah, indeed, that's another solution out there. Looking at Quenza because this appears to be a more elegant and supported solution. Happy to hear that. More importantly, it has the organization level, which allows you to have multiple coaches working for your company. Coaches Console doesn't have that capability, and its current owner indicates that functionality is not currently in the development plans. Yeah, it's definitely...
it was one of the most difficult things we did.
A very difficult feature to develop. So I can understand why the founder of Coach Console is saying that this is not in the plans. It took us a lot of time, money,
a lot of headaches.
But it's there now and it's working. So we're very happy.
It's working for us.
The FDA frequency, duration, accuracy principle is essential for my Mind Kaizen program. Is there a possibility to visualize the performance, i.e. can the client record that she has done their homework and show this in a bowling chart?
I'm not sure what a bowling chart is, but I figure it's...
Yeah, so whether there's a visual presentation of what the client has completed. Maybe we can just switch to the client profile.
So now I'm in the client app. Something that I didn't show you is also that a client can save progress. So when a client is halfway through an activity, he or she can say, okay, I'm going to save progress and continue later as well. But progress is automatically saved as well. So it depends on what clients want. If they save progress, next time they open the application, the activity, it will jump to that particular part where they save the progress. Now, what you can see here is I'm just navigate back to the client app. So these are the main menu options for clients. So if they move to activities, they have a list of completed activities. So this shows, or in the list view, everything that they've completed. So they have access, they can build their own portfolio. We're not there yet that we can like visualize this, but this is something that we will do when we introduce the tracker feature. So the tracker feature means that clients get also like visual information on their progress. So for instance, if you send out a tracker, like a daily registration, for instance, of their calorie intake or whatever, they can
meditation
see meditation
or,
minutes or whatever it is. They have like a visual output for that. But that's something that is on the roadmap, but it's not there yet.
But maybe you can show what a completed activity looks like again. So if you have any chart or anything that you put in the activity, then of course there is a visual representation of that.
So for instance, this is the best possible self. This is an exercise that I sent to a client. The client can open it. It can also generate a PDF file. So if the client wants to save an extra copy, he or she can do so. And here you see all the answers that the client gave. You can see this is, of course, dummy text, but this is an example of a completed activity. The Wheel of Life, I'm not sure. Oh, here is one. So this is another example here. This is the Wheel of Life. You see I hate these colors, by the way. Sorry. I'm about to change them as we go.
You can change them.
Yeah, I can change them. I know. So the client can build their own portfolio. But what you were asking is something that we will do in the future. Yes, definitely.
Couple of quick fire questions,
Yes,
then we can move on. How long is the information stored on the application?
And infinitely, as long as you remain a member.
But if you delete a client, their data will be deleted. We're keeping it for how many months?
30 days.
30 days.
The clients will also get notified, so they will have a chance to download their activity.
That's a good thing about having Ernst, our CTO here with us. You can't see him, but hopefully he'll show his face towards the end of the webinar. Right. But he can answer every technical question that we have, so that's good. Jorge is asking, do you have support in Spanish? Yeah, we have a Spanish version of the app as well. For clients, you can set that by going to the client profile and setting their language to Spanish.
Do you have support? Oh, I'm not sure.
Support, we don't have customer support in Spanish unless Constantine speaks Spanish, but I don't think so. So our customer support is in English, but we are supporting the Spanish version of Quenza.
Yes.
Thomas is saying, thanks. What I meant is to have the ability to extract what I have done as a coach into a nutshell, how many clients I have had, and what has been my learning as a coach, which I could organize into a summary and upload for the EMCC.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So can you show that?
Yep. So in the settings part, there is a statistics part. So what you see here is the number of clients that I have in total, the number of clients that were added, activity sent, and this is organized per month. If you hit export, you will get like I think it's a CSV file that will shows you everything done so far. So per month, organize how many clients you have, how many chat messages were sent, how many pathways were completed, and so on. So you will get like a full overview.
That whole summary. Exactly. And that is what you could upload to the EMCC.
Yes. A nice detail. If you have an organization account, you will have the same data for all your professionals, so you can exactly see how everybody's performing, how much they are engaging with their clients, and so on. So this is the reporting feature. Yes.
Yeah. Kimberly is saying, I'm really liking Quenza. My clients are able to jump right in with the app on their computer. It's very intuitive. Yes, there's nothing else like this app. Oh, that's so nice, Kimberly. Can I ask you to to leave a review for us later? That's awesome. Thank you very much for saying that.
Like the intuitive part, I just want to briefly comment on that.
Yeah.
Of course, before we started this whole project, we checked out as much as we could. And the thing that I always told Seph is like, I've been a geek. I'm a computer nerd for over like 30 years. I'm serious. I got my first computer when I was 12 or something. So just give you an idea. There were applications that I had no clue how to use them. So our main aim, and there is one key phrase that always comes up when we do the sessions with the programs, don't make them think. We don't want you to think like, how should I do this? Like everything should be as intuitive as possible. So I'm really happy that you say this, because that was something that we aim to do.
Yeah, that's a big compliment. Pete is saying, I work with athletic teams and see the group function as a perfect way to engage them and be able to follow their progress. I'll also schedule Zoom meetings, groups and individual.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect use case for Quenza. Melissa saying, I love everything positive psychology and have been a subscriber of you for years. I'm currently using this system and love it. I just got an email about the live navigation course. Will this link with that at all? That's an interesting question. PositivePsychology.com is a separate business from Quenza, but what we are doing is a lot of the science-based tools that we have already developed in PositivePsychology.com as part of the toolkit or of the masterclasses.
Yes.
We are, Hugo with his team is integrating them as expansions in Quenza. So you guys are adding 10 new expansions per month.
So sometimes more. So
yeah,
but yes, definitely, and always feel free to leave your wishes in the community section, because we love to learn. We love to add things. It's very easy for you to create complete programs, as I will show you later in the final phase of this webinar. Well,
I think we should. We're almost 1 hour in, so we should move to a couple of more quick questions, and then we.
What if the client does not want to share their answers?
Yeah.
I think this is something you discuss with clients beforehand. So before you start, you say like, is it okay? So when I send my activities to clients, I always make sure that they want to share. If they don't want to share them, you just select, and when you send out the activity, the option who can view the results, and then you select only the client.
Yeah.
So then the client will also get notified when he or she starts doing the exercise. There will be note that these results will only be visible to you and not your whatever profession you have entered.
Yeah, Peter is asking, Tracker, when will it come? Hopefully before the end of the year.
I hope so. It's also a huge feature. It took almost like 3 months to conceptualize it, because we want to do it right, and
also make sure that it's intuitive and that there's not an infinite amount of options.
And we wanted to add goals to it as well, so that you can link a goal to a tracker feature. So that you say, for instance, I want this goal. I want the client to meditate for at least 30 minutes a week, so that the client becomes also aware of the progress and how much he or she is living up to the goal.
Yeah. CK saying, totally agree with Kimberly, just looking for a stopgap for billing, scheduling, and video conferencing. Can you explain what you mean with stopgap? I don't completely understand it, but the way that I'm interpreting it right now is like, if you have another tool that you can use for billing, scheduling, video conferencing, and it shouldn't be too hard to find, because it's kind of, these are like commodities like water and electricity by now. Then I think combine that with Quenza and your personal website, and I think you have the tools and the online setup that you need in order to expand your coaching practice. There's a lot of new messages that have come in. Hugo, why don't we move on to the next part of the presentation?
Yeah, the final part.
Yeah, and I'll go through the questions.
Sure. Here we go. So we've discussed 2 growth strategies so far: freeing up your own time and using group coaching. The final one is automated coaching programs. So basically this means that you clone yourself in a way that your clients stay engaged, and that you just, like, one thing that I learned over the years is, and that I've done differently compared to my work at university, is that at university you do a lot of work briefly, and then you move on to the other part, and then you repeat yourself all over again. So there's little room for innovation. What the difference is here, you devote quite some time in developing something. So you call this the return of investment of your time, right? So you devote quite some time to, for instance, like building a coaching program, and then the program will work for you. And the only way to do this, I think, is by creating something that is valuable, and then sending it out and letting the technology do the work for you. And this is basically what pathways are. They automate, something that would normally cause you a lot of time. So this is something that saves you a lot of time, but also engages your client. It's I think, a phenomenal way to build your practice, and to also create something that is unique. So, because the question is always, why should clients come to you? Why do you have to offer as a coach that is different from coach B? Why me?
Yeah.
And developing coaching programs in a way that is, I think, very convenient for clients, which Quenza allows you to do. Branded, you can use your own brand, everything is branded. That is something that will help you tremendously, in my opinion. So let me show you what a pathway is. So pathway is under the pathways menu, and it's, as the name suggests, it's an automated journey, you could say, for a client to take. So we have expansions. So there we've pre-made some pathways for you. If you go to expansions, you see here one. So for instance, like, it can be a very simple one. Like a personal one that I love to use is the red and green activities. I do a lot of strength finding with people, and there is no better way, I think, to gain insight into your strength is by on a daily basis, asking yourself, what were the moments that I felt energized today? What were the moments that stand out? And what are those energy draining moments for that day? But you can, of course, send out an email to clients every day, but you can also create a pathway. This is what this one does. So I'm going to add this to my library. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is the pathway. So here you see all the steps that are included in this pathway. This pathway has 9 steps: an introduction, 7 days, and reflection. This is the first activity. So it's an activity, or a pathway is made up of single activities. So it's basically a sequence of activities. So you can add activities. You can also add them manually and or insert them in the pathway if you want. But this is what the pathway is. So on the first day, they will get this email. This activity. It will explain what a green moment is, a moment that you feel energized, and a red moment that drains you. On the next moment, and you determine the moment, you can say, well, once they have completed this one, immediately they will get this one, or you add 1 day, or you can customize this, this sequence. This is what a pathway is. And this pathway allows you to create programs that, you can create once. And I create them and I put a lot of time in them, finding nice pictures and videos and stuff, and then send them out as much as possible. And the cool thing is the value will not decrease. Every client will experience the same value. Yeah. But for you, it was just one-time investment. This is a way of thinking about things. What can I do that will work for me?
Yeah.
Because once I've created them, I get this constant feedback from clients like, whoa, I was enjoying this session. It made me realize this and that. But for me, it was just one click sending out this pathway.
And the cool thing, what you can do is if you're sitting, on a train, for instance, and you had a conversation with one of your new clients, and you've decided you want to share this 8-week resilience training course with them, for instance, you can literally grab your smartphone, go to the pathway, hit send, and send it out to this client, and they will get that whole sequence exactly as you've set it up over the next 8 weeks, completely automated. It takes you a couple of clicks, and for them it can be a life-changing experience.
And this is why then we get back. That's like full circle here. That's the very beginning. So I think the essence for me is of Quenza is to create as much positive change as possible with as least effort as possible.
As little effort.
As little effort as possible. Yes, that's and this is what we always kept in mind when we created it. It's like, what can we do to leverage your unique skills as a coach?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking we haven't told people. I don't know if you're aware of it, but we're from the Netherlands. We're also sitting here in the Netherlands, so a lot of people think we're from the US or based in the United States, but no, we're.
So what is a white label is a question. A white label means that you can you can upload your own logo.
Can we sure. Professional account.
Yeah. Well, this professional account is part of an organization. So when you're part of an organization, I can show you the customization. The white label is done at that level, but it's basically the same. So you can decide what kind of branding. Do you want a custom branding? You can upload your own logo. You can also change the color. So for instance, if you say, well, let's reset to default. This is the default color, but you can choose your own colors that will be used for the activities. You can also choose the way you want to be addressed. So for instance, if you're a health coach, you can choose health coach. So in the application of the client, it will say my health coach.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of personalization that makes the app here. We're also currently building a custom domain. So it means that you can install the application on your own domain. So when clients go to your website, they can log into their Quenza account with your logo. It basically looks like it's your personal app. That's what white label means.
Yeah. Let's see. Colleen is asking, can you link pathways when a client finishes a certain pathway, send them to the other pathway? That's a very good question. We have had that as a feature request before in the community section. It's also part of the whole conditional logic that we wanna roll out at some point. So when X happens, do Y.
Exactly. But it's not there yet.
It's not there at the moment, but a very good question. So right now it would still cost you take you a couple of clicks. But yeah, that would be nice, because that way we can you can have like self-paced programs forever, completely automated.
Yes.
So what is white label? We explained. Do you have specific expansions for leadership or organizational development training?
Wow, cool.
If we don't, then that would be nice thing to put on the expansions.
So we were talking this afternoon about this, like what we want to do now, because we've done a lot of expansions from a wide range of topics, but we want to make more dedicated packages of expansions. So for instance, leadership, or we're coming up now with work and career expansions.
Let's show the part of the community where you can leave it. You can leave feature requests, but you can also leave requests for expansions for a team to build.
Yes. So there is a support section here. There is the community that you can, discuss whatever you want here, and you can have questions.
You can also introduce yourself. You can interact with others.
It's more like exactly with like-minded professionals, or you can go to the request and expansion part, and this is where you request specific. For instance, expansion here, a lady asks for the Johari window as in a specific expansion. So we look into this and we build it. Yeah, that's how it goes. So if you have certain activities that you would like to be created, like PDF files or something, you can also send them to us. I think soon we will also send an email out to all the users, like send us, the PDF files that you want us to create for you.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Couple of I think is the formal presentation part. Are we done with that now? Because then we can.
Yes, I think so. I think we've shared the 3 pillars that we wanted to discuss.
Do we want to open up the chat for one final round of questions?
Yeah, please. Okay. So anything goes. You can ask us anything.
Okay.
Except for.
Now I'm curious to see what kind of questions will come in. No, there's a couple more that we didn't answer, I believe. Can you organize clients by type, new, active, etc.? Yes. That's a question I forgot about.
Yes. So you have active. You have like inactive clients and active clients. All clients is the default sorting, so it will show you.
What we don't have, because I saw there was a part of the question, is we don't currently have leads as a client type. Mm-hmm. But this is something that we can look into building as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
because there is an update coming for the client section, which you can also archive clients and also see their status of the account. So if they don't have an account, if they do have an account, if their account is pending. So this is an upcoming update.
Because you could add leads as pending clients, right?
Well, now the way it's now defined, it's like this client has an invitation to create a Quenza account, but has not yet confirmed.
Exactly.
But that's something. But that would be a very cool suggestion. So my advice would be to post it in the community section, see how many upvotes it gets. We always follow the upvote. So when a feature gets a lot of upvotes, we just start building it.
Absolutely. And just before I dive into the other questions, the offer that we have right now is to try Quenza out for 30 days for just $1. That's the trial that we have. We are going to shorten the trial to 14 days. So right now, if you want, you can still have access for 30 days for $1. What we want to add on top of that is the services of our customer success team. So Konstantin, our customer success hero who loves helping everyone get started, will be happy to either help you, turn your PDF documents and all of the exercises that you have right now into beautiful Quenza activities for you. So you can get in touch with him through info@quenza.com. Email him your current exercises, and he will be happy to create activities for you. Also, he's happy to jump on a call with you and give you a demo and show you the way around Quenza if you like. So all you have to do for that, again, is send an email to info@quenza.com, and he will help you. Get started.
Yes. Okay, Seb, I think we need to call it a day because it's way past.
We have a couple more couple more questions. Let's do a last round. It's already in the feature request, the option to label clients. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've seen that all gone.
Okay, cool.
I've seen that come by before.
Okay.
I'm asking with Melissa, is the live navigation program included? No, it's not included. As we just explained, we are constantly adding expansions to Quenza though.
Can we link the customized Quenza site into a personal website? Yes, it's something we're building at the moment. So our programmers are building what we call the custom domain. So this means that you can add Quenza to your website, you could say, in a way. So
if you share a link with clients, it will be the link of your own website instead of the Quenza.com link.
So for instance, if it's your coachingpractice.com/sign-in or whatever you want, you can, or your coachingpractice.com can also be like the main portal of the Quenza application.
So what is white label we just showed? Thanks, leaving for another meeting now, said Nancy. Love Quenza and the PP Toolkit. Thanks you so much, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, if I missed any questions, please let us know now. Otherwise, I think we're gonna end the webinar for now. But thank you all very much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
It was amazing to see the interaction, and thank you for all of the warm words regarding Quenza as well. It's really, really highly appreciated.
Yes. It's also a big part why we do it. You know, it's always nice to see when people appreciate your efforts and to know that, you know, people like.
One more thing, Ernst. Yeah. I want to introduce you to our CTO, Ernst Janssen.
Hello, Ernst here. Thank you for joining the webinar.
Please say hi to Ernst. He's the one who's making all of this possible from a technical point of view. All right, let's end it here.
Let's go.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.